Okay, we're recording. Thank you.
Yay.
Oh, all right. Now I'm going to put on speaker view. Okay, you guys. So, welcome to the Superstar Series. Today is Tuesday, November 19th, and Julie and I are so excited to bring to you this training. Aside from our very fancy title, what we're going to be talking about, we wanted to make sure it rhymed and sounded good. But what we want to talk to you about really is getting through the holiday hustle and still keeping that momentum going, because this is the time of year, you guys, where it's what you do now is what's going to impact what happens in January, in February, in March. For those people that are like, oh, I thought January and February were going to be so good and it's not so good. It's because of what you were doing in November and December. So Julie's going to talk about that portion of it. And then I'm going to talk about increasing your connections and your engagement and basically your network. I hear so often that coaches don't have enough people that they can invite. So I want to teach you a way that you can really increase those connections. So first of all, let me introduce to you Julie Boris. She is a mom and a wife. She's obviously a superstar diamond. She has been an elite coach more times than anyone, right, Julie? I mean, 9-time elite coach, am I right? I know.
Let's not jinx it, shall we? Let's just
Okay. Let's leave it at that. You guys, Julie is freaking awesome, and I hope that you're ready to take tons of notes from her because she's gonna throw it down. With that, Julie, you ready?
I am ready. Yeah, let's have a conversation here tonight. And Janelle and I were talking before. And first of all, happy Women's Entrepreneurship Day. Did anyone else know that till you saw it on social media? I did not, but then I saw it. So here we go. Happy Women's Entrepreneurship Day. You are all CEOs of what is and can be a multi-million-dollar business. If you don't believe that, you will never have one. So start believing it and telling yourself that. You are building a multi-million-dollar business from your laptop, period. You have to believe that to make that happen. So we're going to talk a little bit tonight on stuff that my husband and I call the stuff that takes no talent. And my husband is a college football coach. I can only see one page. I can't see all of you, but anyone on the first page, were you here at Summit this past summer, maybe in Indiana? Okay, where we were, not only is like 25 minutes from my house, but it's about 10 minutes from where my husband coaches college football. And one of the cool things about your husband being a coach, albeit not a Beachbody coach, but still coach, it's relationships. We're all building relationships here, is we get to talk a lot about coaching. And something that he and I have talked a lot about, something that he implements with his team, is this phrase called takes no talent. The teams that win are the teams that emphasize the stuff that take no talent. Because what that eliminates from our heads is that you have to have some sort of special skill, or you have to have some innate habit or something in you that you were born with to be successful, especially in this business. And there's not one person on this call who can look at me with a straight face and go, yes, I've never compared myself to anyone else in this business. I'm totally fine. That's BS, and you know it. So let's just call that out and say that right now. But here's the thing. If we can focus on the stuff that takes no talent, not only will we thrive during this busy holiday season, we will also take our teams into January focusing on the simple stuff, because at the core, the business really is simple. It's us who make it more complicated than it is. We get caught up in the turkey and the tinsel, and we forget that it comes down to some simple, basic activities that actually take no talent. We get in our heads that we have to be super smart and super creative and super skilled at graphics or whatever to build this business. I'm going to tell you that I grew up in a town of 1,200 with a cornfield literally in my backyard. There's not one person in my family who is an entrepreneur. Zero. I had none of that being a role model when I grew up. My mom was a stay-at-home mom. My dad was in the Navy and an engineer. It was a very patriarchal, conventional, amazing childhood. No one was an entrepreneur. Not one person, not one female did anything that was anything other than teaching or nursing. I didn't see any of that growing up. And yet somehow graduating from a high school of, I think 300, if I'm lucky, and a high school English teacher and falling into fitness, I've somehow managed to build this business. And it's because I've kind of concentrated on the stuff that takes no talent. I'm not the smartest. I'm not the most creative. And please don't ask me to make a graphic. But I'm going to share with you some of the stuff that I have done that I think will help you now and also into January. This business is simple. Here's what we offer: health and hope. That's what we do. We offer and share and connect people with health and hope. That's all you have to get on board with. That's all you have to remember. And then do the stuff that takes no talent, and it will, I swear to you, ease your mind. And then run your race. Just run your race. So here we go. I have no PowerPoints. Put your pen to paper and let's take some notes. Number one, this is gonna blow your mind. Here's what you have to do that takes no talent. Number one, you have to press play. This is all number one. So A, B, C, D. A, you have to press play. B, you have to drink a shake. C, you have to read a book. And D, you have to invite people to join you. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not doing those 4 things, get off this call right now, because it doesn't matter what else we say. You have to press play. You have to drink a shake. You have to read a book, and you have to invite people to join you. And if you came to this call for a very calm 9 p.m., Janelle and I are just going to like wrap up in our jammies and put you to sleep. I am telling you that I'm on fire right now, and I'm going to give that to you. You better get fired up, because we are about to go into a new freaking decade with what might be the biggest launch that we've ever seen. You better get on it and get excited. You have a multi-million-dollar business in your hands right now. You cannot let that go. You cannot. And you have to start by pressing play, drinking a shake, reading a book, and inviting people to join you. Period. Nothing else matters if you're not doing that. Period. Now, here's the thing. When Janelle and I both started, we actually started inviting people to join us, I think, on MySpace. Okay. And then we transitioned to Facebook. And then we transitioned to Instagram. The platform has changed. The inviting piece has not. The platform has changed. The inviting piece has not. It's still the same business that it was 11 years ago when Janelle and I first became coaches. We're still pressing play, drinking a shake, reading a book, and inviting people to join us. Janelle, can you find that person that's not muted?
I'm trying to find that person that's not muted.
If you're not muted, hit mute.
Yes, please.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate that. So those are your first 4 that take no talent. Y'all, that takes 0 talent to press play, drink a shake, read a book, and invite people to join you. 0. That should feel like the biggest relief ever to you. The biggest relief, because you don't have to come into this with some innate skill or some innate talent. You have to get up every morning or evening or whenever it is that you press play, drink a shake, read a book, and invite people to join you. Doesn't that make you feel good that that takes no talent? But I'm telling you, the people that do that on a consistent basis will build a business. The people that fight that, oh, I just can't find a program that I like. I can't find a book that I like. Really? Out of the billions of books in this world, you can't find a book that you like. Out of the 18,000 programs on Beachbody On Demand, you can't find a program that you like. Out of the 42 million kinds of Shakeology recipes, you can't find one. Please, Janelle and I will tell you what Shakeology tasted like 10 years ago. It was not cute, people. It was not cute, but we drank it because that's what you do. Those 4 things are crucial to everything else moving forward. So if we're good on that, let's go to number 2. Number 2, your work ethic. Your work ethic takes no talent. It's interesting when my husband talks about this with his players, because it's the little tiny actions that he sees in his players that he knows indicate whether they might be a team captain later or what kind of player they're going to be on the field when the going gets tough. It's the players who run off the field and run onto the field. It's the players who are picking up their uniform, their helmet, putting it away without being told. It's the players that are grabbing water for someone else, to help. It's the work ethic. It's the intangible. Here's the deal. Nobody got into this business to work 24/7. Not one of us got in this business to work 24/7. Absolutely not. We got into this business to create incredible opportunities and memories for our family, to pay bills, to create a life that we might not be able to create without this business. We didn't get in it to work all day long. But dang it, you control your work ethic, and you cannot compare yourself and your business to someone else who's working harder than you. You cannot compare yourself or your business to someone else who's working harder than you. And my husband and I say this a lot too, when the players will complain when they get beat, he's like, well, get better. I mean, there's the solution. And for us, I translate that to work harder. I do not translate that to work more. I translate that to work harder, work more intentionally, work smarter. Don't do the busy work. Dig in and do the work that will actually produce return on investment, messaging your customers, inviting your customers, providing value in your challenge group. The stuff that will actually provide return on investment, that's the stuff that you dig in and do. That's not working more, that's working smarter. No one controls your work ethic but you, and that is not something that is a talent, that is a choice. So number 2 is work ethic. That takes no talent. Number 3, routines. I am a type A Scorpio, and I am a big believer in routines, but routines take no talent. Routines are simply choices. So in the morning, what are you doing in the morning to get up and set the tone for your day? And everyone's morning is different, and everyone's season of life is different. So please, especially women, don't come into this and go, well, that's okay for her to say because her kids are all gone in college now. Well, my kids have only been gone in college for 2 months. So the entire 11 years of my business, I've worked it with kids being home right on top of me. So that has nothing to do with that. We're all in different seasons of life. You have to find a morning routine, an evening routine, a work routine, wherever it is in your day that sets you up for a positive, productive, intentional day. For me, that's morning. I am a morning person. Right now, I would like to be in my bed with my pajamas on. It's 9 p.m. because that's very late for me. I'm a morning person, but that's my morning routine. What is yours? My husband will stay up till 2 a.m. breaking down game film. That's his routine. What's yours? And does it set you up for an intentional day? I get up in the morning, and before I work out, don't think this is weird, don't judge it till you try it, I take a shower. I shower before I work out. Yes, I do, because that's my routine. That's my trigger. That's my habit. And then when I come downstairs, I make my energize. I do my gratitude and goals. I do my tracking. And right now I am reading Gabby Bernstein's 40 Days to Miracles book. So I'm journaling as well. I'm doing all those things as part of my morning routine. It doesn't take me any more than 20 minutes in the morning before I go down to press play, but I've set myself up intentionally how I want to go through the rest of my day. So what would a routine be for you that would help you do that? And I will give you one strong piece of advice. As a mom of 3 who's done this entire business with my girls being home, get up before your children are. 99.9% of, we've been married 26 years, 99.9% of our married life, my alarm's the first one that goes off, period. Because chances are, moms, you're the North Star in your family. And if you are off course, you need that time before everybody gets up to recalibrate and point yourself and everybody else in the right direction. So my top tip for your routine would be get up before everybody else if you can. If you have a newborn baby, don't be silly. You're going to get up when the baby gets up. But if you're on a kind of a school routine, get up before everybody else gets up. So that's number 3 that takes no talent, is a routine. That works for you. And that you embrace will likely change. Could change 6 months from now during the summer, then could change again when they go back to school, and then could change again next year if they go to a different school. You have to embrace the seasons of life that you're in and find a routine that works for you. Number 4, you need to keep your bucket filled with stuff outside of Beachbody. Let me say that again. You better keep your bucket filled with stuff outside of Beachbody, because what happens is, we spend our time giving to everyone else, giving to our challengers, giving to our coaches, being on calls, giving. It's also a female dominated business. And that's what we do. We take care of everybody else. And we forget that we're also on that to-do list. And if we're not taking care of ourselves in a, not just a physical way, but like a mental, spiritual, soulful way, how can we give anybody else any kind of information? Where is that coming from if we're not filling our own bucket? And it doesn't have to be something extravagant. I'm not talking about a girls' weekend in Bora Bora, although that's lovely if you have the time and opportunity to do that. I'm talking about, I took 8 of my coaches to a cycle class last Friday, and then a few of them came over and we had lunch, and it was a 2.5 hour window on a Friday afternoon that the whole rest of the day, I'm like, God, that was awesome. Like that filled my bucket to spend 2 or 3 hours with my coach. And we sweat, we did a workout, we had lunch. That's it. Super uncomplicated, but that filled my bucket. I do bigger things like, travel or go to the theater or see shows, or that fills my bucket. You have to have stuff that is filling you up outside Beachbody. And here's a question for you. If you cannot answer this question, I challenge you to spend time in 2019 so that you go into 2020 with a better answer to it. What inspires you? What inspires you? Do not say your children. That's a given. What inspires you? When you watch it, when you see it, when you feel it, when you are around it, what lights you up, what inspires you? If you don't know, if you can't say a couple things right off the bat, you have a job to do the next few weeks to figure that out going into 2020. Because if you put more of that into your life, it just naturally bleeds over into your business. It does. Do not open your Coach Online office expecting to be inspired. It's your job to keep your bucket full and bring that to your business. Not your business's job to do it for you. So that's number 4. Last, number 5, and I'm speaking specifically to the women. So Mike Fitzpatrick, sorry about you. I'm speaking specifically to the women. Number 5, the last thing that takes no talent. You need to give yourself permission to succeed. You need to give yourself permission to succeed. In this business for 11 years, and I'm sure Janelle can attest to this too, we've heard a lot of the same reasons. My spouse doesn't support me. I don't have time. I'm too busy. All of that is fear. All of it is fear over success, not fear over not succeeding. It is fear over success. You need to give yourself permission to succeed on your terms, in your way, according to your definition of success. Your definition of success may not be to be a superstar diamond coach. Awesome. That's okay. Your definition of success might change 6 months from now. That's okay too. But if you don't give yourself permission to succeed, it's not going to matter what your definition of success is, because you're never going to get there. So you have to get up every morning saying, I'm going to freaking light this world up on fire, because there are people out there who need what we have. And when I create success, I help other people do the same. You playing small does no one any favors. Does no one any favors, because someone invited you to this. Someone put these tools and this tribe into your life, and your life is better because of it. If you're not sharing that with people, it's likely because you're not giving yourself permission to succeed in this business. And you are worthy of that. You are worthy to succeed in this business. And what an incredible example that is for your children, for your family. And if you are a mom of daughters, for your daughters to see that. That's an incredible example, but it starts with you. And the people that, they see other people succeed and they're like, oh my gosh, tell me about your invite script, and tell me about your email system, and tell me about, you know what changes the game in this business? The stuff you do on the inside, not the emails. It doesn't matter. If you could say the completely wrong thing, but if your spirit is right and your heart is right, it won't matter. Stop worrying about an email system. Stop worrying about tracking every little thing. Start working on you. Start working on you, because guess what? That takes no talent. And then you set yourself up for a killer 2020. So I'm going to recap really quickly, and then I'm going to turn it over to Janelle. Number 1, there's 4 parts to it. Press play, drink a shake, read a book, invite people to join you. If you're not doing those 4 things, it doesn't matter what else we talk about tonight. Those are non-negotiable. Number 2, your work ethic. That takes no talent. Please do not compare yourself, your life, or your business to someone else who's working harder than you. You control that. It's not about working longer. It's about working smarter and harder in the places that give you most return on investment. That takes no talent. Number 3, your routines. What routines do you have set up in your life that will give you production, that will set you up with intention, that will give you positivity, that will bring you joy? Y'all, this business should not be hard and arduous. It doesn't mean there aren't pieces of it that aren't hard. Yes, it's a relationship business. We're dealing with people. People are weird. We're all weird. Humans are weird. Yes. But at its core, the business is joyful. It's joyful. There are pieces of my husband's job that he would rather not do. He doesn't really want to talk to the administrators or the AD or any of that. He wants to be on the field for 20 hours a day with his players. He loves that. But you got to do some of the stuff that you don't love quite as much. That's okay. But at the core, my husband loves his job. At the core, you should love what you're doing. And if you're not, you got to fix that. And that can come through your routine. Number 4, keep your own bucket filled. If you can't answer the question, what inspires you, you got some work to do. I need you to work on that and know the answer to that when you go into a brand new decade. And number 5, last and possibly most important, please give yourself permission to succeed. That is not a talent. That is a choice that you make. And here's the cool part. You could make it right this very second. Maybe you haven't been giving yourself that permission to succeed. And maybe you've been holding yourself back and playing small for reasons known only to you. And right this very second, you could make a different decision and the reasons no longer matter. Give yourself permission to succeed, not just for you, but for all the people in your life that you could inspire if you succeed. So those are my 5 take no talent tips for you tonight. Now, Janelle is going to take that and tell you how to explode it into launching into the brand new year.
Julie, thank you so much. That was on fire. You should have seen the comments coming in. And Keisha and Christina, your comments were cracking me up. They're like, bobblehead status. People are saying, Julie for president. I mean, it was awesome. Love your energy and your tips. And it's so true, you guys. You have to have those things first before any of this other stuff is going to work. Am I on the screen at all, Julie? I don't see myself. I am? Okay.
Yes, you're on my first screen. Yes.
Okay, cool. All right, sweet. So you guys, what I want to talk about is increasing your connections, because whether you're a newer coach or a veteran coach, it's always good to be increasing your network and increasing your connections. I always say the way that your inbox looks is an indicator of your future success in your business. Your inbox should be full of conversations, full of people, and making those connections. So how do you increase that? So one of the ways that you can increase that, and by the way, I want to just give a little shout out to Jace Lundgren, who did a Tribe Power Hour training. Hopefully you guys have seen that. It's really good, but this is just another way to increase those connections and relationships. By the way, I'm Janelle Summers. I think it says on me that I'm Lindsay, and I saw a few people saying, Lindsay, hey, Lindsay. I'm actually Janelle, but I'm sure Lindsay's with us in spirit. So anyways, so what we want to do is, first of all, before I get into the meat of it, you have to kind of niche down. If you guys are not listening to the podcast by Angie Lee, write that down. Angie Lee, the Angie Lee Show. She talks a lot about niching down and the fact that there are so many, fitness coaches out there. And so in this day and age on Instagram, you do want to figure out, like, who do I help? What is that problem I help her solve? And is it something that's tangible? Is it something that at a glance, looking at your bio, she knows exactly what it is, the kind of content that you're going to be giving her? Not that you won't throw in some other content that's kind of related to that and kind of not related to that, and just showing your life. Of course you will. But at a glance, looking at your bio, does she know, yes or no, would she want to follow you? And so making sure that you have niched down as much as you can. And now my bio has changed many, many times. So it might take some practice to kind of figure out what you want it to be. But to really niche down and figure out who you help and how. Once you do that, then you've got like this base of, okay, I'm going to create content that pertains to that, right? So one of the things that you can do and should do is have freemiums. What is a freemium? A freemium is anything of free value that you're giving. So you guys, it can be your free groups that you do. It can be a PDF. My friend Jen Delvaux, she has a PDF of the supplements that she takes and when she takes them. Kind of the common supplements that most people need to take and when you should take them. Think of things that given your niche, let's say you help moms you help new moms lose the baby weight. What are some questions as a new mom yourself trying to lose the baby weight? What are some questions and things that you wanted to know? What were some of your pain points? Create free value based on those things. And you might be thinking, well, yeah, I have these pain points and I have these struggles, but I don't know the answers. Research the answers, because that's what we need to do. We need to not be the expert, but to point people to these resources. So with these freemiums that you're doing, don't feel like, oh, I can't do that because I'm not an expert on that, or I'm not a nutritionist, or I'm not this, or I'm not that. That's okay, because you're not expected to position yourself that way. What you're going to be doing is pointing people to resources. So again, examples of freemiums, groups, a PDF, a video series, maybe you like to blog. It could be a blog that you point people to that's obviously free, where you can be collecting their email, an ebook, all these different things, right? So that's what a freemium is. Why are they important? Because you can increase and grow your email list and your connections through these freemiums, okay? So when someone stumbles on a freemium that is of really good value, whether it be a group or a PDF or whatever, they share it with their friends, right? And they point their friends to it. So that's, now you've got not only this one woman who follows you, but you've got her friends coming to your Instagram or to your group or whatever to be a part of this, right? You have to make sure that this freemium actually has value. You should actually be thinking, do I really want to give this away? Like, this took a lot of work. Yes, okay, you really want to give something of value, and you want to, with these freemiums, collect emails and be writing down or tracking, if you can, their Instagram name or their or friending them on Facebook, whatever it is. It depends on what the freemium is. But I would say, no matter what the freemium, you should collect emails, because even if it's a free group, in any Facebook group, you can ask questions before they join. And so one of the questions you can ask is, what is your email address? And do you mind receiving emails regarding such and such content? I promise I won't spam you. Obviously content related to this free group, right? So you're collecting emails with that free group that you're doing, right? Also, with these free groups, or whatever it is that you're doing as your freemium, you're developing trust. You're showing people what value you provide, and you're showing that you're not just there to make a sale, that you're there to actually help them, right? Thank you, Hannah, for posting that Tribe Power Hour. Thank you. So you're there to actually help them, and that builds trust. So let's go over just some ideas, and then we'll wrap it up. I wanted to make my part quick so we can keep it within 30 minutes. Let's go over some ideas for some of the free groups that you could do. One of the free groups that I have done is a Sugar Buster group. So it's just 3 to 5 days. A 3 to 5 day free group is all you need. I personally like 3 days. I've done a Sugar Buster group. I've done a metabolism makeover group, and you're probably thinking, well, I wouldn't know what to put in a metabolism makeover group. Guess what? There are so many amazing podcasts about boosting your metabolism and things that, are slowing your metabolism, or things that affect your fat loss. So all you're really doing in these groups, you guys, is pointing people to your favorite, most trusted resources. You're just posting once per day in this group. And the way I set up my group, my free groups, is I'm the only one that posts, and everyone posts underneath my post. So there's just, if it's a 3-day group, there's basically 5 posts in the group. There's the intro post asking everyone to introduce themselves and what their struggle is, pertaining to the group. And so that's the day before the group starts. I do the intro post. And then day 1, day 2, and day 3, those posts are just me saying, let's talk about, HIIT workouts and strength training and how that impacts your metabolism. So that might be one day, right? And I say, post below how this helped you or how you've struggled or whatever. So I always, on every post of each day, ask for their engagement. Every single day I ask for their engagement. So I don't just throw information out there, I ask for their engagement. Okay, so those are the 3 days. And then on the fourth day, even though I've said it's a 3-day group, it really is about 5 days because I've got an intro post. And then on the day after it ends, I do a call to action post asking them to list which number best describes them. So it might say number 1, I'm feeling good about this information. I would love to hear more. I would love to continue getting into more groups like this. Number 2, I would love to do one of your virtual boot camp groups. Number 3. So I'm giving them different options that lets me know where this person stands. Do they maybe want to get an invite to my 21-day group, my virtual boot camp? Do they want to hear from me some more or have questions or whatever? So I'm giving them options in that last day. Also on that last day, I do a drawing for the people that have participated in the group. So I mentioned that on the very first day when I do the intro post, that for people that participate in this group and engage daily, they will be entered into a drawing for an Amazon gift card. You could do Lululemon gift card or whatever. I always do Amazon since I've got a Canadian account and a UK account. That way, if I've got people from all 3 countries, we're set. But I always make sure they know that there's going to be a drawing only for those people who really engage in the group. And I really feel like that helps because I get really great engagement in these groups. And people really help each other out. It's really amazing. I love running these groups. So when coming up with a free group, think about the pain points that pertain to that niche, okay? That you, the woman or man that you help, what is that? And what is that pain point? What is that struggle for them? What are they trying to figure out? What is keeping them up at night? Okay. And think about yourself when you were in that position, maybe before you got into fitness. What was your struggle? Okay. So make a list of those pain points. Maybe it's a sugar addiction. Maybe it's, really a struggle to lose the weight, even though you feel like you're doing everything right. And of course, with each of these pain points, come up with a free group and come up with a catchy name. So that when people hear it, because guys, this is a business. We've got to market this stuff. Even though we want to help people at their core and their mindset and all these things, the truth is we got to get their foot in the door. And we've got to make these things fun and appealing, right? So you've got to think of a good name. But think of those pain points. So maybe it's struggling to lose weight. Maybe it's something with thyroid. Maybe it's, a new mom trying to lose the baby weight. Maybe it's a working mom trying to get more organized. Maybe it's something pertaining to gut health. Maybe it's for women that are pregnant, trying to have a healthy pregnancy. Maybe it's something specific to parenting. Really make a brainstorm list of all the things that you could do a freemium for. Now, another thing, like I mentioned before, was you could do something other than a free group. It could also be like an ebook or a PDF or a video series, right? So just as an example, I hired someone on Upwork.com to do a foodspiration ebook for me. And I just asked her to collect the last 50 posts from my Instagram. I gave her my login to my Instagram. I said, collect the last 50 posts that had to do with food, and categorize them into breakfast, lunch, and dinner, snacks, and dessert, and sweet treats or clean treats, I think I call them, and smoothies. Okay, so those are like my categories, right? And I said, please just make it into an ebook where they can download it to their phone or to their laptop and create a page where they can opt in with their email address, right? So all I did was hire a woman on Upwork.com. I ended up paying $200 for her, but I had bids for like $50 to do it. I just started connecting with her. I really liked her work. I went with her. But that's just one example, because once I had that freemium, you got, I promoted that a couple times a week. And I built my own networking list by thousands by promoting that free ebook for several years. Okay. So for several years promoting that free ebook. Okay, so I think, let me see if there was anything else I wanted to touch on. Making sure that you collect emails. You might even, when you're getting people into a free group, ask what their Instagram handle is. Now, here's the thing. You're probably thinking, okay, I've got all these people's emails. Now what do I do? You can take them into a, something like Google Streak or Constant Contact or some type of CRM, like that. but basically when I'm sending emails to these people on my list now, what I'm doing is I'm just trying to build trust and add value for them, right? So the way I do that though, to work smarter and not harder and not create more work for myself, is I take posts that I've done in the past that pertain to that topic and I recycle them into an email. Okay, so it's content that I've already spent a lot of time thinking through and writing at one point in time for a post, and I'm making it into an email. Okay, because trust me, all these people that are on your list are not seeing all your posts or all your posts from the past, right? Okay, so I just want to, oh, and by the way, I do like 3 value added emails with then an invite email. So here I've done all this value adding through email, and then I've got an invite. Same goes with DMing these people. You've been building this relationship in this free group, and now you can DM them, have other side conversations, and now it's not icky to do an invite. So basically, at the end of the day, what you guys are doing is you're taking a cold market and making them warm. All right, someone's not on mute, or I'm just echoing, one of the two. So you're taking your cold market and you're making them warm so that you can do an invite and it feels right and it feels good and you understand who they are. So I'm not going to go into any more detail on that, but let me see if there's any questions. What email provider do I use? I actually use Constant Contact, and I like Constant Contact. I do use Google Streak as well, but for most of my lists, I'm using Constant Contact. I've kind of been a little bit back and forth with Google Streak. Yes, and weekly newsletters are great, but I would not say in your Facebook group, I would not say, do you want to be on my newsletter? Because people get so many newsletters, they're freaking sick of newsletters. So call it something else. Make it something else. And it can be essentially a newsletter, but call it something else. Again, you're a business, you want to market things. Think about yourself. I know for me, when someone says, do you want to be a part of our newsletter? I'm like, no, please. I will pay lots of money to not be part of your newsletter, even though I love the company. But if they call it something else, I'm like, oh yeah, I do want to know about that, right? Okay, looks like maybe someone is not muted. But okay, anyone else have any questions? Julie, did I forget anything?
No, but I took 2 pages of notes, just so you know.
That's amazing. Do I ever do the groups on Instagram versus Facebook? I don't actually, Tiffany, that's a great question. I always do mine on Facebook, and I do occasionally have people say, well, I don't have a Facebook account. I let them know, I say, hey, I completely understand Facebook can be crazy and such a time suck. But if you just create an account that is completely private, you don't even have to load a picture or anything, it might be worth your time. And the reason I do that, you guys, is because ultimately, I want to be able to help this person more than just fitness. I want to be able to help them open a business, to be honest. If I like this person, I feel like we're like-minded, I want to help them open a business in fitness. And they're going to need to be on Facebook because that's where so much of what we do is. And I really feel like they just need to open up a little bit and get on there, even if it's just a private account. And
can I add something to because the points that you talked about when you said, who do you help? What's keeping them up at night? And how can I help them? Yeah. I wrote that down. Then I started writing down some of the pieces that I thought about with myself.
Yes.
And to me, that becomes posts. That becomes Instagram stories. That becomes IGTV. So what used to keep me up at night this time of year was family stress and also income, which I think is real common to a lot of females. But I wrote that down. I'm thinking immediately, like, we need to be posting about that. We need to be doing an IG story or an IGTV. So as you're answering those questions that Janelle so succinctly put out there and you're writing your pain points down, think about how you're going to make that into something that gives you a return on investment. How are you going to use that? Because that's awesome to know it. But if I do nothing with that, what's the point?
Right. Exactly. And one thing that you'll hear, I took Angie Lee's niche training, and it was awesome. I loved it. I think it's called Nail Your Niche, maybe? I forget. Niche Masterclass, whatever. Go to Angie Lee's show on Instagram, you'll find it. But anyway, she talks a lot about how us fitness coaches in our bio, we talk a lot about mindset, right? Because for us in fitness, we've had our transformation. We've been impacted by fitness. And so what we want to get through to people is the mindset and how it changes your confidence and how it empowers you and all these things that are not quite as tangible, right? But what you have to understand is that person you're talking to isn't there yet. And unfortunately, she wants sometimes that quick fix. Think about where you started though, and maybe that's kind of where you started too. You were like, you know what, fitness has changed my life and it's been this amazing thing. But it actually, when I first started out, I just wanted to lose the 10 pounds like now, like yesterday. What is your girl saying? Is that her issue? Because if that's it, then you saying that you help women find their confidence, that might not be exactly what she's looking for yet. And I'm not saying it is or isn't, but think about that is what I'm saying. Yes, focus on the result that people want and not the fluffy stuff, right? All the fluff words. And what do you recommend for the newbies that don't have the huge transformation yet? Well, just, Leslie, I don't have any kind of huge transformation. You have to really show your journey, because people are way more inspired by the progress and the journey than they are just to see, someone who has had this amazing transformation. People aren't inspired by success. They're inspired by progress and seeing the struggle.
And also that mindset right there, it's an awesome question, Leslie, but that mindset right there, that can hold you back if you let it. Because I've heard that, and Janelle and I both don't have huge transformations. Neither one of us do. And that can hold you back if you let it. If you're telling yourself the story that I don't have a huge transformation yet, so therefore I cannot build a business. Janelle and I don't have huge transformations. So that just make sure you're not telling yourself that story. Make sure you're just asking the question, but not planting that in your head that you have to in order to build a business, because that's not true.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am. Any other questions? Just create a huge list of pain points for my stories, posts, IGTVs. Thank you, Julie and Janelle. You're so welcome. Yes, that's what you need. Brainstorm those pain points, and you'll realize that there's all these IGTVs that you can be doing and posts, and you can really curate your content around those pain points. Awesome. How many people do you invite to your first Facebook group? Oh gosh, to be honest, Caitlin, my very first free group, literally there was no one in it. No one came. I promoted a clean eating group and it bombed. You know why, guys? Because it was boring. Like everyone at that time was doing clean eating, and it was white noise. It was white noise. I had to do something that spoke to my struggles personally, and my struggles personally have been, I'm a recovering sugar addict. And so I was like, I have a story around that. And so that's how I spoke with passion about helping other women with this. And that really, got traction. No one wants to eat clean, right? It just doesn't sound fun. That's not very sexy, right? Market it. All right. Cool. Awesome. How often do I do free groups? I think I personally do them about once every other month, but you could do one at the beginning of every month for 3 days and then do a 3-week group after that. Totally up to you. All right, Julie, anything else? All right, awesome, you guys. Thank you so much for getting on. We'll get the recording out. Have a great evening. Thank you.